If your pilot light won't stay lit on your water heater, you may just need to replace your thermocouple for $12. You don't need to spend $1,000 and replace the whole thing. Of course, the first thing you want to do before you start to work is turn off your gas. So this is the gas line coming in to the water heater. Unfortunately, the cap for my switch is broken, but this is where the switch for on, off, pilot, all that is. So it's on right now. I'm twisting it clockwise, passing the pilot mode, and just turning it completely off. So your cap probably isn't missing, so it'll say off. So we've got 4 things down here. The thermocouple, you've got your main gas line, you've got the gas to the pilot light, and then the 4th thing is this wire going up to the igniter switch. And you're going to have to disconnect all of those things. So remove the cover and loosen all of those things with your wrench. It's worth pointing out that the gas line going to the pilot light is a really soft metal, so you want to avoid bending it because you might pinch it or put a hole in it. Next, there are 2 hex bolts that you'll need to remove. Okay, so there you go. There's the inside. Now you can see that that's really rusty. I actually replaced my thermocouple last week. The reason I'm taking it apart again is because I noticed that this was so rusty. In fact, that this burner plate, you can see, had started to separate. So as a temporary measure, so that we didn't have to go without hot water for a week, I wedged a couple metal brackets. So I'm going to move one out. So I put this bracket in there so I could keep this in place. And then there's also another one. The burner plate was free, just like this. So I wedged in these couple metal pieces just to make it through the week while I waited for the new burner plate to come in. Okay, so I've got the burner assembly here on the workbench. I'm going to be replacing this burner plate that I discovered was so rusty last week when I replaced the thermocouple. So the thermocouple is right here, this kind of copper wire. You're going to want to remove this bracket. You're just going to pry that up, and this will come apart really easily. One thing you'll note when you get your thermocouple, the new one, my water heater was built in 1999, and it was reverse threaded, so I didn't know this when I bought the new thermocouple. The new thermocouple is not reverse threaded. So when I looked online, the guy who found a solution said he just used his Dremel, or oscillating tool, and put a slit in the so that he could get this off of the old thermocouple and slide it onto the new one. So that's what I did, and it works great. So sorry, it goes this way. So it'll you're going to want to remove that bracket if you're taking the thermocouple out, and then you're also going to need to get it out of the bracket here. So I'm going to take apart the burner plate and show you how that happens. There's just 2 screws here. A bit more on the screw. There we go. So now my burner plate is off, and you can see more clearly this bracket that holds the thermocouple in place. So when you take note about how much the thermocouple is sticking out here, because when you put it back together, you're going to want to have about the same amount there sticking out. This is all going to slide out. With your old one, you don't have to be too gentle with it. Just there is a clip here you don't have to push in, and once that's pushed in, it'll slide. This metal will just slide right out. The thermocouple cost maybe $12. This is $25. So you know, if you have the time, and I mean, you could buy this whole thing, I think, for $120 at Lowe's or Home Depot or something, but I mean, everything else was fine except for the thermocouple and this burner plate. So 25 plus, you know, 10, I mean, for $35, I was able to get this back into basically new
Now while you
condition.
have this out, look
So
inside that hole at the bottom of the water heater. Use a flashlight and see if you see rust. If you do, it might start leaking soon, and leaks cannot be repaired, and you'll need to
I'm going
replace
to
the whole
work
water
in
heater.
backwards order, meaning I'm going to put those two hex screws back in first, and then the pilot gas line, then our main gas line, and then finally I'll finish up by putting this thermocouple back on. So, hex screws first. And so I'm just going to slide that over the thermocouple, and like so. So that is my old one, from the old thermocouple. It's tight. And here's the bolt from the new thermocouple that I just let fall down there. Just gotta turn this now the opposite way, open it up, gas is flowing. Okay, final step. Got the gas turned on, now we're gonna light it up. I gotta turn mine here by hand. My cap is missing, so yours is gonna say off, pilot, on. So turn it to pilot. Okay, so I'm on pilot. So I can push this down. I'm gonna hold it for maybe 15 seconds or so. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Oh, and you'll be able to peek into this hole, the glass down there, into this hole, and see that your pilot has turned on. You need to keep holding this, let the gas flow, and that thermocouple is going to heat up and send a signal back here, and let the water heater know that it's okay to keep the gas flowing if this pilot button isn't pressed. So I lift up and then turn it, continue opening this up, and now we've got a full fire going on under there. Then all you gotta do is put this cover back on, put your tools away, and say good job.